Story 1. Talk to yourself. It can help you develop your ideas and process emotional things, and it will also help you remember how you got to this point in life and why you're like this now. Story 2. My weird life hack is to keep a small notebook or a piece of paper by my bed and jot down any thought or task that pops into my head before I sleep. It's amazing how much stress it relieves. No more tossing and turning, just peace knowing I'll deal with it in the morning. Story 3. Use the banana peel method for important things or objects. This refers to placing something somewhere you have to step on it, referring to the slapstick comedy trope of people slipping on a banana peel. For example, if you have a USB drive you need to take to work, put it on top of your keys by the door. If you have some earrings a friend left at your house and you're going to see them later, put them in your shoes. Need to take a textbook to class? Put your keys on top of it. At night, I put my glasses beside my medication in the kitchen before bed. When I wake up, the first thing I want is to put on my glasses. I walk out of my room, grab them, then grab my medication because it's right there. Haven't missed a dose in years. Works like a charm. Story 4. If you have things to do after work, don't go home and sit down in between. Get home, have a shower, and go straight to doing whatever needs to be done. Taking a moment to have a break will kill all your momentum. Story 5. Get into the habit of tackling the least appealing things first. Put the more fun things last. When I eat dinner, I always eat the things I dislike first. When I work, I always do the tedious, boring stuff first. When I get paid, I pay the bills and allocate the money to various savings and investments first. On weekends, I do my chores before I get to do any of the fun stuff. Once it becomes a habit, you'll notice that you'll procrastinate less and less because whatever comes next is better than what you're doing right now. The only thing you need to overcome is starting, and I tell myself, do 5 minutes of the thing, and you can stop if you're really not enjoying it. By the time I focus on the task, it's usually at least 25% done, and I just tell myself to plug my nose and finish it. Story 6. So random, but I've been hiding all advertisements on my Pinterest and marking them as irrelevant to me. And I've done it so often that advertisements only pop up on my home feed like once every other week. Then I do the same with that one advertisement I see, and then no advertisements again. So basically, I found a weird way to remove advertisements from an app that is nothing but advertisements. Story 7. Start an Excel document with every significant purchase you make, such as those over 100 euros. Where, when, how much, warranty, the location of the receipt, a link to the manual, etc. The 6-year-old dishwasher stopped working the other day, and I was able to go back and check the price and location. This allowed me to get a good deal on a new one because I knew all the details from before. I even had the plumber's website saved and was able to contact them. The stereo stopped working, and I thought maybe it was still under warranty. Instead of searching through emails or hoping to find a receipt somewhere, I looked it up in 10 seconds. It was out of warranty, but I knew quickly. Story 8. If water is in your ear, say from swimming or at the beach, just add more water in your ear with the affected ear facing up and gently jiggle the water. This will break the air bubble and drain all the trapped water out. I had this happen to a friend and I told him that method. He was quietly annoyed because he didn't believe it, but later he tried it and it worked straight away. Story 9. House dirty and can't be bothered to clean? Set a timer for 5 minutes and just get to it. Once the timer is done, go back to messing around. Even if it is just cleaning a side table or dusting some shelves, do this at least once a day. Once you start realizing you may want to do more, set a 10-minute timer. Also, whenever you leave a room, take something that doesn't belong in there with you to put in its proper place. A cup, dirty clothes, a bag. If you do this, your house will get surprisingly clean, surprisingly fast. Story 10. Vinegar is amazing for stopping pain from sunburn. Get a few pieces of kitchen roll, soak them in vinegar, and put it on the places that are sore. Wait for the kitchen roll to dry and have a shower to get rid of the smell. It works like a dream. No one ever believes me. Story 11. We have a small shop vacuum in the basement laundry room with a high-efficiency particulate air filter on it. I keep it plugged in and use it to clean the dryer lint trap. No more lint dust in the air from cleaning it out manually, and the lint trap is really clean every time I use the dryer. Less dust, better drier airflow, marginally shorter drying times. Story 12. CLEP exams are a cheap and quick way to get college credits for things like literature, humanities, and history, without having to pay college-level prices. About 20 years ago, they saved me when I was in danger of being held back from graduation because a disastrous semester as a biology major put me deep in the hole with my credit requirement. Story 13. If you have a mosquito bite that is really itchy, take your shower head and blast it with water as hot as you can stand. You feel the itchiness just melt away. I've tried every method, product, tip, and trick over the years, and this is the only thing that has ever brought any relief. The relief normally lasts for about 24 hours. Story 14. I keep a gifts list on my phone notes throughout the year and jot down any time I hear someone mention something looks neat or something they want. It makes holiday and other gift-giving occasions much easier come year-end. Story 15. Starting to catch a cough or cold or already have one. Rinse with mouthwash. This occurred to me a few years back, and every time it has helped me get better quicker. Story 16. I always had trouble finding pillows that work for me. They were either too firm or too soft or would get too hot. One night I started sleeping with one of those horseshoe-shaped travel neck pillows, and I've been using them every night since for well over a decade. Instead of putting it around your neck, you lie with your head in the center of it. They cradle your head right in the middle so you have airflow underneath. Keeps your head and neck from twisting too much, and it's just the right mix of soft and firm. They are easy to travel with since they're technically made for traveling, so you get to use your own pillow in hotels. When they start wearing down after a few years of use, I just order a new one online for about $10 to $12. Story 17. Swallow a couple of packets, or a spoonful, of sugar dry to stop hiccups immediately. I'm a casino cocktail waitress, and I bring my hiccuping customers a packet, and it always works. Story 18. I raised my children to be friendly and chummy to service workers. Rapport helps everything. It never helps to get rude with them and mistreat them. But even if you are someone who mistreats working people, it does you well to be friendly and polite, as if they can do something to help you or fix a problem, they will. Sad treating people with decency is a life hack, but here we are. Story 19. One thing that really helped me lose and maintain weight was by skipping breakfast. The number of people who tell me I'm crazy because surely eating breakfast stops you from eating too much throughout the day? No, that's not how it works. I found that I don't need to eat before lunchtime to function properly, and eating breakfast was just adding unnecessary calories. There is no such thing as most important meal of the day, which was a slogan made up by breakfast cereal companies. Story 20. I put a dash or two of salt in my coffee so that I don't need to use as much sugar. Every time I do this, people look at me funny and retch in disapproval, but it works. Salt binds to the bitterness receptors on your tongue, making the coffee taste less bitter and therefore naturally sweeter. Story 21. If you lack self-esteem or are very critical of yourself, try the following. Every night before you go to sleep, take a journal and write down 3 things you didn't mess up that day. Don't try to only go for things you did exceptionally well, though of course they can be included. Just 3 things you didn't do poorly at that day. They can be as simple as cooked a healthy meal, did the laundry, called 3 customers and no one got angry at me, was on time for work, or even didn't want to get up but did it anyway. The key is to learn that most of what you're doing every day is absolutely okay. We often put a spotlight on the one time we were late but don't see the 99 times we weren't, because that's normal and not doing anything wrong should be the bare minimum, right? Wrong. Not screwing up and just doing your job/managing your day is worth being happy about. If you did a math test and didn't make a mistake, you got the highest possible score. You didn't need to go beyond that and prove a new theorem to get an A. If you called 40 clients, messed up 3 calls, and did 2 exceptionally well, while the others were just normal, you didn't lose 3 to 2 that day. You won 37 to 3. Learn to adjust your focus. And writing down 3 things you didn't do wrong will help you on that path. You're okay. Story 22. Eat pickles if you feel a headache coming on. Electrolytes can help with a headache, hangover, and menstrual cramps. Diclofenac, sold under the brand name Voltaren, decreases the amount of blood loss if you have heavy periods. Cetirizine, Antihistamines helps with painful or itchy bug bites, like wasps or mosquitoes. Cinnarizine, used for travel sickness, also helps with nausea that is not from motion sickness. Teething gel or drops for babies contain lidocaine, a local anesthetic, so they can help with pain from aphthous ulcers, canker sores, or a toothache. Edited to add, I don't know if diclofenac cream works. I always use tablets. Naproxen, Aleve might work too, according to Google, but I've never tried that. Story 23. Maybe not a hack per se, but if you're having anxiety, brain fog, or generally just can't focus, just start cleaning. It doesn't have to be anything deep. Just pick up some clothes from the floor, throw away some garbage, or take dishes out of your bedroom. You'd be surprised how quickly you find your brain back on track when you accomplish just a few simple tasks. Story 24. If you are lonely or want to date in a serious way, do not look for someone. Look for things you like to do, where you are likely to meet others who like it. That way, all your dates are with the type of people who do interesting things that give you the chance to connect. Story 25. If you are worried you did not turn off an appliance or item in your house, such as a stove, lamp, or heater, take a photo after you have turned it off. I do this for my office space heater. Every time I turn it off for the day, I snap a photo of it. That way, if I think I have forgotten, which happens often, I can always look at my phone and the photo I have taken. Story 26. When I am trying to recall something, such as someone's name or the title of a movie, I go through the alphabet. As a student, I did this while taking exams, such as when labeling the states on a United States map or listing the elements on the periodic table. Works pretty much every time. Story 27. You know when you get out of the shower and there's that rush of cold air, and you quickly try to get your towel around you while dripping water all over the floor? When you finish taking a shower, turn off the water but don't open the curtain or door right away. Keep that warm air inside while you remove excess water with your hands. Wring out your hair. Get the bulk of the water off your body. We're just talking about a minute or two. Now, when you do open the curtain or door, you'll be much less cold, you'll drip far less water on the floor, and your towel will get you completely dry much faster. Story 28. If you are male and have that stage fright feeling of being in a public toilet when you really need to pee but just can't, try doing division in your head. I pick a couple of random numbers, say 12,965 divided by 87, and by the time I am halfway close to working it out, I can just pee. Probably helps that I am really bad at math, so I have to concentrate quite hard to do it. It used to be quite an issue for me, but since I learned that little trick, it hasn't been a problem since. Story 29. For 5 minutes a day, silently meditate on words of affirmation or positive self-guidance. It's a new habit I've recently started practicing in the last 6 months, and it has literally changed my life and my happiness. I've changed my own life. Story 30. When some electronic device starts to malfunction, openly discuss replacing it within earshot of the device. Miraculously, it starts functioning again or better. This has happened many times over the decades, both at home and work. It's probably a coincidence, but it happens enough that my family has noticed. And no, I don't think these devices are bugged, and the man is trying to keep me from replacing them. Laughing out loud. Story 31. Doubling up on socks. I wear athletic ankle socks under long formal socks. Significantly reduces foot fatigue if you have to be on your feet all day. Compression socks help with this too, but doubling up works better in my experience. Story 32. My fellow Americans, buy a bidet. I bought one when COVID-19 hit and toilet paper was hard to find. I purchased one for $30, installed it in 5 minutes, and have been loving it. I buy a 6-pack of toilet paper a year now, and my bum is cleaner than ever. Story 33. The correct amount of sugar in a cake is the amount of flour divided by 2. I learned this from my family, but nobody else seems to think this is a good idea. But when I make a cake for a birthday or something, it's always completely gone. So I guess it was good after all. I just feel like with that amount of sugar, you almost always end up with a cake that is sweet, but the sweetness is more of a side note than the main flavor. Story 34. 1. Poop at work. The relief just feels great, man. For anything negative that happens, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Greet people with a bright smile and say their names. Take walks in nature. Quality of life over statistically. This is bad for you. Check in on people for no reason. Having doubts? Write negatives and positives next to each other. Write down stuff. Story 35. Trusting people by default. As long as the cost of betrayal isn't harsh, I won't secure potential risks. That's what I call the coin pot vulnerability. I have a pot where I put excessive coins I may have in my pockets. When I invite friends, I don't bother hiding it. First, it shows I do trust them, which is always something pleasing to know. Secondly, if someone does take a grab, I'll know they're not really a friend, which is worth much more than the few coins I lost in the process. It goes the same way for sharing stuff about yourself with other people. I do believe most people oversecure their small vulnerabilities, which robs them of the opportunities of having pleasant surprises. If they never give other people opportunities to be trustworthy, then they'll never find anybody to trust.